Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable, our English lecturer, Miss Veny, and my beloved friends. Before I start, let me introduce myself. My name is Titania Intan Arimbi, and in this special occasion, I'm going to explain general principles for determining positioning routines. Basically, in radiographic procedures, there are two general rules or principles that help us to remember and understand the reasons that certain minimum projections are needed for various radiographic examinations. The first is minimum of two projections 90 degrees from each other, and the second is minimum of three projections when joints are in area of interest. First, minimum of two projections, 90 degrees from each other. The first general rule in diagnostic radiology suggests that a minimum of two projections must be taken as near to 90 degrees from each other as possible. This is required for most radiographic procedures. There are three reasons why minimum of two projections are needed. First, superimposition of anatomic structures. Superimposition means that there is a placement of an anatomic structure over another anatomic structure so that both parts will look staked and the full anatomy may not be visualized on one projection only. So, we need two projections for these certain pathologic conditions. For example, like some fractures and small tumors. Second, localization of lesions or foreign bodies. A minimum of two projections that taken as near to 90 degrees from each other as possible are important to determine the exact location of any lesion or foreign body. For example, this is a picture of foreign body's pathology. There is a nail embedded in tissues of the knee. We need both AP or PA and lateral projections to determine the exact location of this nail. The third determination of alignment of fractures. All fractures pathologists require this principle to visualize fully the fractured site and help to determine alignment of the fractured part. And there are examples of examinations that require two projections rule include forearm, humerus, femur, hips, tibia fibula, and chest. And there are exceptions to this rule, such as an AP mobile portable chest, a single AP abdomen called a KUB, kidneys, ureter, and bladder, and an AP of the pelvis. Because for those exams, with only one projection is enough to provide the sufficient information that needed. Second, minimum of three projections when joints are in area of interest. This second general rule or principle suggests that all radiographic procedures of the skeletal system involving joints require a minimum of three projections rather than only two. Those are AP or PA, lateral, and oblique projections. This rule is applied when we need more information from the anatomy structure that cannot be provided on only two projections. For example, for anatomy structure with multiple surfaces and angles of the bones making up the joint, a small oblique chip fracture or other abnormality within the joint space that may not be visualized on either frontal or lateral view may be well demonstrated in the oblique view. And there are examples of examinations that generally require three projections, where joint is included in the main interest area. Those are fingers, toes, hand, wrist, elbow, ankle, foot, and knee. And there are exceptions to the rule, such as post-reduction. Post-reduction means radiology examination for pathology that has gone through medical treatment of upper and lower limbs. These exams generally require only two projections for checking fracture alignment. And a pelvis study requires only a single AP projection unless a hip injury is suspected. And jump into the summary. There are two general principles for determining positioning routines, such as minimum of two projections that is taken as near to 90 degrees from each other as possible, and minimum of three projections when joints are in area of interest. Those are applied when certain projections cannot provide enough information for medical treatments that needed. As you can see on the screen, this is the textbook that I use as reference for explaining this material. And that's all for me. Thank you very much for your nice attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.